and gentlemen, welcome to Spitballin'. I'm Matt Taylor with my good buddy
Kyle Amundsen.
And this is our second episode. Kyle, I wanted to ask you, how are you doing? Are you doing all right?
I'm doing great. Fantastic. I really like it really was our plan to do one a month until we finished the last one, and here we are a week later.
Are you handling like the instantaneous fame?
I'm already Facebook famous, so I'm kind of I'm married, so I've got to turn the groupies down, of course. But the free drugs are nice.
Free drugs are nice.
I've got a couple more stalkers than before, but that's okay. I welcome that. I need the attention. I'm like that. But how are you doing?
I'm doing fan-fucking-tastic.
Well, you're Matt fucking Taylor. You should do fan-fucking-tastic.
I was really happy with how it went, and I was just happy with the incredible response that we got and how many people tuned in.
Yeah, we really appreciate your boredom and bad taste in programming. Actually, it's. I mean, that shit is definitely questionable, but we love that you choose to spend the time with us. And today's we're having our first guest on. We have a wealth of interesting friends, so much so that we're likely to get eclipsed, and you'll be calling for those people to have their own shows and forget all about us in the very near future.
Well, that's the Joe Rogan model. He just keeps launching new people in podcasting, and every one he launches is just as good or better than his, so it's perfect. You looked like you were going to poop earlier. You went, and then you stopped. What were you going to say?
Brendan Schaub is not better than Joe Rogan.
No.
Yeah. But, actually, when the Matt fucking Taylor thing, at some point or another, because I've referenced that in both shows now, someday we're going to have to tell these guys, those that are not in the know, how the Matt fucking Taylor thing. It's not just something I said. It's a real thing.
I mean, it is my legal middle name.
Did you change that to fucking?
Change it. That was my given.
Oh shit! I never even knew that.
Someday we will tell that story.
Fair enough.
So you told me, we were talking a little bit before the podcast, that you had something on your chest.
Yes. So it's Pride Week. Or Pride Month, I'm sorry. And I was thinking, I was like going through, I've referenced Facebook so much. Do I have a Facebook problem? It's not a problem for me. Is it a problem for you? But how you go through your memories and stuff like that. And I was looking at something. I was like, man, I it's Pride Month. I should, I'm going to post something. And I was looking at some of the stuff that I had posted in years past. And it was, and I noticed like the presence of a lot of stuff that it was, I'm not gay, but blah, 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 blah. I'm not gay, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like I don't need to say that shit anymore. I don't, like prefacing all those kind of statements with, like any supportive statement with, I'm not gay. I think that kind of like lends itself to something I'm, not really comfortable with, I don't give a fuck if somebody does think I'm gay. Like, if I do, that means that does that mean that I think that, that's a shameful thing? Would I be I'm not black, but, these are not things that anyone, I think, should be, embarrassed or ashamed of or anything.
So you're saying that back in your Facebook memories, you were saying, I'm not gay, but I really support.
I'd repost this stuff and I'm like, man, I don't really need to. I don't need to preface that. I don't need to preface my support with anything. And I just I felt like, okay, because I am not the most couth individual. Sometimes I'm kind of a heel. I say stupid and sensitive shit, but I'm always working on that. So I'm like, okay, is that a little progress? And really, like, the only people, the only person that I need to answer to for my sexuality is my wife, and he loves me either way. So, yeah, and of course, while I was thinking about that, I started thinking about the backlash against all that stuff. Like straight people, why isn't there why aren't there straight parades? Why isn't there, what about a straight month? Stuff like that. And I used to think like that. I used to, but I feel like that was when I didn't put very much thought into that or anything, because nobody's, when we do stuff like that, there's a certain level of ignorance, but there's also like you don't prioritize it that much. It's not really on your radar. You don't spend a lot of time thinking about it, so you say things like that. Now, like to help people out, there's nobody attacking straight white men for being straight white men,
Right.
I mean, not physically anyway, a couple of angry lesbians of the extra woke flavor, don't fucking pretend that doesn't happen, because it does. That brings me to another story we can get to later, or another time, whatever. But nobody's physically attacking us. Nobody, there's not, there's 8 countries in the world out there that will put you to death for being gay. Don't diminish like their struggle and what they go through and stuff. That community, they've been through some shit, and I like I said, I didn't always take the time to think about these things. Eventually, but I do, I'm not a clever man, so like I have to think about a lot of shit, and I have to get feedback from people and pick my way through stuff, to figure out like where I stand on stuff. And even look at, and even once I just look back at stuff that I'd seen for myself, like there's heartbreaking shit happens, and it's not about being special. It's a party, they want to be special. No, it's not about being special. It's about being acknowledged and just being okay. It's, so I hope that I've explained that well. I don't know. I just, like I said, I used to think like that. And I see, there's nothing wrong with the people that, that still think like that. Maybe if that helps anybody kind of come around, like I never really thought about that. I hope that helps a little bit. Because there are, and if that doesn't help, if that doesn't clear it up, then you're, probably just one of those cunts, if you just begrudge them their month, to begrudge them their month, and talk about your straight parades and your, and that's another thing. Nobody really likes parades except for gay people and kids. And kids, not so much. So what the fuck? Like, drop that part. Like, you want a straight month? We'll call it Cunttober, just for you. Because who's the biggest snowflake in the fucking world? You are. Stop begrudging them their month. That's silly to me. Fucking quit whining. All I hear when you whine about that shit is, Susie had a pony at her birthday party, It's fucking pathetic. I want one. No, you fucking don't. Just let them have their month. Be cool. Just be cool.
I couldn't agree more. I think it's really crazy how far we've come just in the last few years. I remember when the Vote No, campaign was happening. You remember that
Absolutely.
Time period? You were really big in that.
It's the civil rights. It was the civil rights issue of the, maybe it's the civil rights issue of our era. I don't know. We've got a lot of civil rights. We've come a long ways, and we've got a long ways to go. And these are big civil rights issues, and I'm a firm believer. Like it's hard to consider. I would think it would be hard to consider yourself like a good person and still stand in the way of two people that love each other, wanting to commit to each other. Like if you're not okay with that, maybe that's your fucking problem.
I remember during that time period, I put out a Facebook post on election day. It said, today is election day. I really want to encourage everybody to get out and vote. And I mean, unless you're going to vote yes. I mean, in that case, don't forget
then
that
fucking stay home with your sister, cousin, wife,
you've
whatever.
really been working a lot, and you just need to take the day off, and you should probably just get out there more. And then I also remember that was kind of during the time period where they had the equal signs. Everybody was putting
Yes.
equal signs filters over their fucking Facebook pictures, which I thought was really cool, except I couldn't figure out how to do it because I'm not very smart. And but at the time, my Facebook picture was a bunny rabbit because I had some bunny rabbits. So I put a post on. I said, I'm not going to change my profile picture to an equal sign, but my profile picture is a fucking bunny rabbit. So I think you can probably assume I'm okay with equality. So that was pretty cool. A subject that we touched on last week that kind of ties into this Gay Pride Month thing. And I was a little jokey. I didn't take much flack for it, which kind of surprised me. But I made some suicide jokes, and I gotta tell you, I think everything is funny. Like there are no taboos. That's usually what makes humor funny. Now there's shit I don't appreciate. But even going down some of the really ridiculous taboos of racism and stuff. Sometimes there's a reason that shit's funny. That said. I know the suicide's a sensitive issue for sure, and I have an experience that with a kid, and I don't want to out him, which is a weird turn of phrase right now, but a kid that I used to work with, and he was 19 years old, and he ended up committing suicide. And it came out later that really what happened was that he was struggling with his sexuality, and he was kind of a hick. And when he came out, his friends just totally shit on him, and then he just couldn't take it, and he fucking ended his life. And I was like, God damn it, man! Like, I wish I could have talked to him and just said, look, just hold on, wait 3 years when you're in your early 20s. It doesn't matter who you fuck at all. Like, it just doesn't matter, but it's like that's such a hard message, especially for youth to because it's hard enough to be a fucking teenager.
Man,
you are,
oh my God.
I am the most normal demographic in the world. I'm a white straight cisgen male.
Still sucks. I always tell people you couldn't fucking pay me enough to go through junior high again.
Yeah.
I mean,
fuck that.
I had it easy, but holy shit, that's still just such a awkward and horrible time to be a human being.
And then add on
sometimes
top
that doesn't
of
end
that.
for a while, depending on what kind of how you are about socializing with people and stuff, and your social skills and everything.
And then you add on top of that having something that sets you apart from most 90-some% of the rest of the population.
People's families turn their back on them for stuff like that, and that shit is heartbreaking. And now, I'm not the most woke motherfucker in the world. I am not super self-aware. All these things. I'm the most flawed and imperfect person So I'm not trying to sound pompous or anything like that. I've come up with this stuff. I'm 46 years old, some people know this shit right immediately. I'm I said about I'm just picking my way through stuff,
Right.
and trying to be not trying to use the resources available to me and my good and a good upbringing to counteract all my fucking base ass degenerate my horrible nature. Yeah, I don't mean to I don't mean to act like I've got it all fucking figured out, because I don't. And there's nothing worse than really the really insufferable holier than thou, like I said, I mentioned the ultra woke flavor.
Right.
Sometimes I want to feed people like that to my hillbilly friends. And by the way, when I mention my hillbilly friends and stuff, some of the most cool people about other people's sexuality and shit, that's not necessarily a big liberal thing either, because I know plenty of conservatives that are just do not give a fuck who you're laying the pipe to. They do not. It doesn't show up on their radar. And I know plenty of. And there's liberals out there that that pay lip service to that shit, but they're not as cool as they want people to think. So that's just something I wanted to touch on. Happy Pride Month. And I hope I hope that like that stuff that I throw out there, like, it, maybe helps someone, like, oh, okay, gotcha, like, yeah, maybe they do go through a lot of the shit, and I don't have to begrudge them this month.
Right, and I mean, did you used to like Dennis Miller? You ever like?
I think Dennis Miller's a fucking jerk off.
Okay,
he was funny on Saturday Night Live, but Jesus, have you seen his stand up in the last 20 years?
I have walked away from him because of like a lot of his views. I just couldn't take it anymore. But back in the day, he had a stand up where he was talking about sexuality, and he said, there's only the rules for sex is consenting adults, and it can't hurt the animal. And I was like, yeah, that's it. I mean, that's it. Like, I don't want anybody judging me about the sick shit I like to do. Not that I like to. Okay, but I mean, I don't want anybody judging me about what I like to do. I don't understand why we would ever want to judge anybody for what they want to do. And then we're just talking about sex, but also about like love and marriage and the ability to like share health care. It's like, thank God that the Supreme Court finally, like pulled their head out of their ass and gave people the right to be humans.
A lot of these issues we're going to look back on, or somebody's going to look back on, or whoever populates this world next is going to look back on, and we should be embarrassed about some of the ways that we treat people and some of the shit we argue about, frankly. And nobody is more engaged in that argument than me on most days. Those kind of arguments, and when I a lot of that stuff, when I think back on it, I'm embarrassed by it. But we're gonna be fucking embarrassed about the way that we've dealt with with a lot of groups, and and like the gay community being one of those groups. Like it's how the fuck did it take this long?
Yeah.
We're not as cool as I'm not as cool as I think I am, and as a people, we are definitely not as cool as we think we are.
That's true.
But we're working on it. We're all working on it.
Have you seen? Do you ever watch the Last Week Tonight with Jesus Christ, John Oliver?
Yes.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite.
I enjoy him a lot.
Yeah. I catch the YouTube clips and
everything that comes from everything that the Daily Show spawns, all those guys and shit are brilliant.
Right.
It's such a great show, and Stephen Colbert was so fucking amazing on there, and I just love that shit.
Well, all of you out there in TV land, like this, we're not TV land.
TV land.
How fucking old are we?
Old and grandiose, oh, we're glad we made it to prime time.
Right.
Now a word from our sponsors.
All of you out there in the wherever the fuck you are, go to YouTube and type in John Oliver transgender, and he does about a 20-minute piece about transgender people and how. And I don't want to sum it up, but it was fucking amazing.
Make sure you spell that shit right, because you all know Google can be a harsh mistress.
That's true. But yeah, it's amazing. So just check that out.
like looking for British television. Careful typing in BBC. All right. Fuck, I kill me. Anyway.
I used to have a stand-up bit about going on Amazon, and I was trying to find something for my father-in-law for Christmas, and I typed in I typed in fishing equipment, but I spent.
I should be ashamed of myself that I knew exactly where that was going so quickly. I spent the next 6 hours reading reviews on these big fist dildos, and then that part's not exactly true, other than the fact that I did spend a bunch of time reading these reviews on fist dildos because they were just killing me. I mean, there was this giant dildo, and the review was like, oh my god, this was great, fun for the whole family, and just shit like that. I was just dying. Yeah. Son of a bitch. It's not Prime. I don't want to wait.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. I can't do it. It's not Prime. Awesome. Well, today we are going to have a little conversation with one of our oldest friends, Thargnar Panzerschanz.
A guy that people have actually, people watched the first episode and they asked for.
Yes,
So
for sure. Tharg is just one of those dudes who has just always been around. He has a really unique background. Used to own a sword shop in Brainerd, which was pretty fun. Yeah, he's kind of a cool artist, and so it's going to be interesting. So we're going to have a talk with him coming right up. You got anything else you want to talk about before we get into to the Tharg?
You know, I did have something, but I feel like we should get feedback or something on this one. I don't know if we want to ask people for their videos or just stories or whatever. The stories might get a little lengthy. I doze off during a long comment on Facebook, unless it's my own.
Right.
But I had an experience. My wife Christine, she sells a lot of stuff on Facebook, and a lot of times, I will be the one that meets them, which I don't know if you ever sold anything on Facebook. I kind of wanted to hear back from you if you've got any ridiculous stories about people that about selling shit on Facebook, because meeting up with these people is sometimes a fucking adventure. Like the one in my story from this week just pales in comparison to some of the crazy shit. That's why I want to hear your guys. If you got a weird one, I don't care. We want to hear it.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially is video should we give? I mean,
yeah, you could send us video. You can send us video. You can send us comments, whatever.
Yeah. Send us video and send us whatever. Just ease up on the dick pics.
Oh my God, I want to talk about dick pics, but yep, put a pin in that.
Of course.
Well, not exactly.
Why wouldn't
that might hurt.
But nice. Which reminds me. Oh, anyway.
Finish your fucking story,
later.
Jesus.
Where the fuck was I? That's
we were talking about Facebook selling.
Yeah, walking around the parking lot of a building supply company. My wife set up this appointment for me to meet this woman, to drop this item off and get the money. And she'd talked to her. She talked to her many times. She talked to her that day. And by the time it was lunchtime, I walk around the parking lot for 15 minutes with this fucking pillow. And I'm messaging back and forth with my wife, and I'm like, hey, she's not fucking here. So she gets a hold of her. And she's, oh, I totally forgot, oh, I'm so sorry, can you just bring it to me? Can you bring it to me at the middle school? Yeah, I'm at work. I've just got so much stuff going on. Fortunately, nobody else in the fucking world has anything going on.
Right.
Can I bring it to you? Yeah, fuck, of course. I've already waited 15 minutes, and then, we show up, and she's, oh, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. You know what? That's cool. People forget shit. But one of my least favorite things in the world is people that don't respect other people's fucking time.
Yeah, drives me crazy.
You're just an island of yourself. Go fuck yourself. Never mind that. Anyway, she doesn't oh yeah, here's a check. So a check for $10. Yeah, let me go bank a check for fucking $10.
$10 pillow. And throw it in the garbage. Recycle.
Well, it was a bunch of shit.
Goodwill.
So I was meeting a bunch. There was just a bunch of shit that we were getting rid of. Blah blah blah. But no, I get that. But and of course, especially $10 after you fucking walk around a goddamn parking lot for 15 minutes and then deliver it to someone. And and all they have to, and all they have to say is, "Oh, yeah, I just got so much stuff going on." Fucking get over yourself. That's why people make appointments. But it was just frustrating, and and more. It's not even that I was so much frustrated with her, but I just am constantly frustrated by people that don't respect other people's time and shit. Those are real humans, not extras in the movie of your fucking life.
Right.
So I want to hear your experiences because there's way more interesting experiences than mine out there. I just, when I thought about that right away, I was like, fuck, I want to hear some of these crazy experiences.
I just refuse to do it. I never ever sell anything. I just give it away. Put it on the side of the road. Right? I mean, how my time is just worth way too much to fuck around with any of that. I don't even return shit to the store. If I get a bunch of hardware and I'm like, oh my God, I got the $100 of extra hardware, but I'll just put it in a box.
Use it for something later.
Yeah, well, I won't. I'll just put it in a box. I'll store it. I will store it.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, that's what we're, we're just, we're always clearing out space because, like thrifting, garage sales, stuff like that. It's fun. But we wind up with a house full of shit all the time.
Yeah.
So like you want so she always wants to make like recoup our losses or make a profit on stuff and make space. So we're in this like endless cycle of making space, because of all the treasures that she drags home. And to be fair, like sometimes giant Star Wars action figures. Sometimes there's just shit that you can't live without.
Right.
So I mean, it's not just her, but so we're always making space, and she wants to, like I said, recoup our losses, maybe even make a profit, so we can buy more shit to fill up our house with. So yeah, but yeah, want to hear that shit? If you and I'd love it if you'd send us a video of your story.
That would be awesome. But since Tharg's not here yet, I want to talk about dick pics.
Speaking of Thark, that was a cool segue. Hope he brings his
What?
dick.
Okay, I don't get it. I just do not get why guys think it's a good idea to send
The unsolicited dick pic? Man.
Is that you?
I'm not going to say that's never been me, but no, I'm very aware now of how
Okay,
much.
it's another growth thing. No pun intended.
Which were more of a growth thing, but I don't. Yeah, I guess I didn't realize back in the day that it's uncouth to send someone a picture of your genitalia. Not that I was ever like a huge offender. There we go again.
It just absolutely blows my mind that anybody thinks that's a good idea. Like, I've never in my life. I don't even think I've ever even taken a picture of.
But when I did it, I would it was like I had costumes and stuff. It was my dick doing interesting things.
Well, interesting.
Here's my dick with some.
Okay.
Here's my dick crossing the Potomac. I mean, in this boat. Here's yeah, just stuff like that.
That's fucking funny. I mean, you put a hat on it, then I think it's fine.
Oh my god.
But,
that's just half-assing it. You need a costume.
Yeah, like little suits of armor.
And then you need to work on background and shit like that. I mean, here's my dick at the first Thanksgiving. That was an easy costume.
Well, I've been talking to a lot of people, and it just blows my mind the overwhelming majority of women that I know in my life get fucking constant unsolicited dick pics.
Yeah, and I mean they're not asking for it. They're just like, oh yeah, blah blah. I mean, and apparently if you're a woman and you strike up a conversation with a guy, you can be in the middle of that conversation.
And then here's my dick.
Yeah. Boom. Whoa.
Right.
That escalated quickly.
That's the weirdest fucking
I was
thing
telling
I've
you
ever...
about I was telling you about my grandmother's funeral, and bam, wow, dude.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I don't want to give. Actually, I want to give a lot of advice on this show. The truth is, I do. But
we don't want your dick pics. But maybe we should start a segment hey, Matt and Kyle, I really want to send this girl a dick pic, but here's the situation, and we'll tell you whether or not you should send that dick pic.
I think that's a great idea. But if you do want to send us your unsolicited dick pics, we can take it. Because
the picture, not the dick. Maybe we can take the dick. I don't know.
But we will post them for sure, 100%
Yeah.
with your name.
Oh,
yeah,
and everything we know about you.
Yeah, your profile,
which is too fucking much
everything.
now.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Awesome. Okay, well, Tharg's coming up next, so stay tuned, because right after these
you're going to love this guy as much as we do.
We'll be right back.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, welcome back to Spitballin'. I'm Matt Taylor here with my good buddy.
Kyle Amundsen.
Seems like that's our thing. And we have Thargnar Panzerschanz in the house. How you doing, Tharg?
Fine.
Oh, great. This is going to be a fucking awesome interview.
I'm great, Matt.
Can I get,
Thanks for
get
asking.
a word now? A big word?
So Tharg and I have been friends for going on 20 years now.
Oh, fuck me, yeah.
Yeah. Tharg started a little...
I started as a patron.
As a patron, yeah. Yeah. That's right. At the Eclectic Cafe. Like week 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a young arms dealer.
Yes.
Sword
I was
merchant.
actually Pre-terrible idea failed business.
So this is a microphone, and you need to talk into it.
right.
Yeah. Pre-failed terrible business, he said. You can adjust it however you want.
But sword merchant sounds like a euphemism for something else. So I just go with that all the time.
Right, regardless of what you do.
Yeah, indeed.
Reminds me, I heard a term called coxman a while ago.
Because I use that once in a while too.
That's you. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I was like, that is a great term. That's no wonder that's where it came from.
A coxman?
Yeah.
Coxman.
What's a coxman?
Like the most feared coxman in all the land.
Yeah.
And what is a coxman?
Well, he uses his cock. I mean, sometimes for justice, but not always. I mean, but
He
he's.
tries to use it in the name of good, but sometimes there's anti-hero coxman.
But I mean,
you know,
like a certain level of
kind of anti-hero is how you get to be a coxman in a lot of ways.
Right. But I mean, a certain level of skill is applied, implied. Like if you're a coxman, you're not just a cock user. You've become one with a cock.
Give me
You're
a
coxman.
give me a simile. What's an
Like if I ever was
Like a
indeed a
lensman,
coxman, I'm
but for
definitely a
cocks.
retired coxman, way past my prime.
All right. Coxman. I like it. All right.
Yeah. We
So-
all probably know at least one coxman.
So, like, you could say, like, he's such a player, or you could say he's a coxman.
I think
because
a
when you call
coxman
somebody a
supersedes-
player, like
yeah.
I mean, that kind of
That's a whole range of skills. It's a skill set, and plus,
Well-
it's not really it's not a compliment necessarily.
Yeah.
But a coxman,
Okay.
And
that's a
besides,
compliment.
Like if you know, and chances are, if you're talking about a player, then you're hating me. It makes you a hater. Then you're a player hater. Then you're going to school for your PhD, which, as we all know from '90s rap, is a player hater degree.
I'm fucking lost. Okay, well, Coxman. All right, there we go. So we weren't prepared for this at all. So because that's kind of how we roll.
Oh shit, I'm in good company.
Yeah.
Yeah, I showed you guys my notes.
Right.
No, well, note plural.
Ah,
No, singular.
well, no, it didn't even say take notes on there. Like it was just
An empty
Right,
piece
but
of
it was
paper.
still
that I carried around in my
Technically on
pocket
notes,
for 2
right.
days. You know, like
So-
a piece of paper that I was going to write notes on because I want to be prepared. Only I just don't prepare.
Right. But there are some things that I would like to talk to you about. You are into guns, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So-
Which some people don't know because I'm an ultra fucking libby lib.
Right. Well, that's actually what I wanted to talk to you about because
Like we're all gun
there
owners here.
is this like weird juxtaposition between
Yeah.
like being a liberal or
Yeah.
somebody of I don't know, right mind or whatever,
Yeah.
right-minded individual. That seems weird. You can't say right-minded anymore.
No, because they're
And then
not.
people think right and left.
Yeah,
and,
right
yeah.
and left.
Well,
Yeah,
then they think they're right.
right. But
Which
I'm
I'm not saying your opinion is less valid than mine. I'm just saying you're wrong. And
right. However, being a liberal, you would identify yourself as a liberal, I'm assuming.
ultra liberal at this
Ultra,
point.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, like even libtard almost.
oh yeah, yeah. I'm basically So I mean, you actually when you first met me, I was probably pretty hard right.
Oh yeah, when I first met you, and that was well after you guys were friends.
because I was young and fucking dumb. But yeah, I was like way hard right, and then I went through that transitional phase of libertarian, which is basically a liberal that can't shit or get off the pot. It's like the agnostic phase of going to atheism.
Okay.
So
I thought
so
I was
went.
just a sniper on the sidelines. Anyway,
And then,
Yeah. Yeah, and then basically, like, I actually got out into the, world as far as around here is. But I mean, I was pretty fucking, like, sheltered and shit, like, growing up in Pillager and shit like that. So
Yeah.
I was surrounded by an echo chamber of, like, like, the thing to do was, like, if you saw someone that looked queer as you drove past, you would yell fag out the window. Like, that was, like, the fucking mindset back in the day. And I was...
and how did you go from that to like being this?
By actually
ultra-liberal?
meeting people who are different than me and like being like, holy shit, like everybody's fucking human and like everybody fucking deserves respect. And I mean, it sounds so fucking lame, but it's just, yeah, like I just by realizing fucking people deserve to be treated like you want to be treated, everybody, and like that people that need help deserve it. Whether it's like fair to you to like, it's not fucking fair to give my taxes to fucking poor people that need food and shit. Well, fuck that. Like, I mean, they need food. If we can't take care of our weakest people in a society, we're a fucking shit society.
Yeah.
Why do we even have a society at that point? Fucking just go back to anarchism or fucking feudalism or something.
Well, I think it's like we got to where we are, as like in communities, nobody's on this fucking adventure by themselves,
No,
a lot of people
no.
like to act like it, go build a fucking cabin in the mountains and fucking live by yourself and be a hermit.
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
you.
There's
It's-
fucking there's a self-made man.
Be
except
part of the village.
He would have never
like-
got to making the cabin if it weren't for fucking society and shit. So,
So
right.
I'm interested.
Back to the thing. Yeah.
So, well, no, I get it. So you went through this progression, and we were just talking about this a little bit earlier about how Kyle used to kind of be a, not even like you were talking about Gay Pride Month, and
Yeah.
you were like,
Well, I used to be very conservative, like myself. I mean, when I was young, and
Yeah.
but then I grew a conscience. Because I just, not that conservatives don't have consciences.
Yeah, I
but,
know. That's it's an easy trap to fall into.
Yeah. But I just, and I still have some views that I guess people would assign to conservatives, like the whole gun thing. I describe that to people I would say Northwoods liberal, like it's kind of an asterisk,
I always say gun-toting liberal. Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Because there's a lot of us, a shitload of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's a
That-
really interesting juxtaposition to be liberal, to have these thoughts of how everybody should be treated equal, but then also be into guns, and it
Well, I wouldn't-
confuses people.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, just everybody being treated equal is like a liberal thing. I mean, that's also a conservative thing. I mean, we got to be fair on that. It's more of a. I think if you're doing a liberal thing, the thing that conservatives disagree with is that people that start off disadvantaged maybe deserve some extra help, stuff like that.
Okay.
Like that's kind of the where, because I think everybody should be treated equal is that's kind of bipartisan. Like if you took the most raging conservative and should all be people treated equal, he would say yeah.
Okay.
I mean, unless it's one of their fucking backwoods cousin fucking members that kind of attach themselves to that.
Right,
Because
right.
the conservative umbrella fucking, like it or not, the umbrella covers the fucking Klansmen and shit like that, because that's the only party they can kind of fit into. But that doesn't mean the party, everybody that's conservative embraces those people and shit.
And it kind of sucks to use some of these terms too, because I consider a lot of my liberal views, kind of conservative as well. These are
Oh yeah, conservation, like the original meaning of conservative. And that's how the fucking party
well, and with
started
social
off.
policies too and stuff, and you're making, you're investing in people, hoping that pays dividends, and and everything that we know, if we pay attention, says that it really should.
Yeah.
But there, but a lot of people like to latch on to little examples of how these people, this person abuses the system, this person abuses the system, even though when it comes to a lot of social programs and stuff, people get in and out of those programs, they get the help that they need, they move on, and they're and then they're just productive and all that shit, and they're not on those programs anymore. But some, but everybody likes to latch onto the examples that people hate to see,
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, the stuff that infuriates you, and it is infuriating. When you see something
Sure,
like
absolutely.
that,
But I mean, I consider those investments and stuff. I think that those things are, I think that's a conservative, like the investing in, in people and stuff.
Yeah.
That's is that, that to me that's conservative. Conservation, the environment and stuff like that. Conservative. I mean, these are just titles that we throw around, but I mean, it's for lack of a better term. Fuck, I'm not trying to pigeonhole anyone.
One thing that drives me nuts, and this is kind of on a side subject, but that drives me nuts about some conservatives, and they want to lump everybody together, but the whole denial of science culture.
Yeah,
It just,
because it's not necessarily because they don't believe in the science or anything like that. It's because the libtards have latched onto it. Therefore, as a knee-jerk fucking reaction, then well, all the libtards believe in fucking climate change, so it's got to be wrong. And whether it's wrong or not, the more I fucking shit on it, the more it pisses off them fucking libtards. And obviously, not everybody's like that, but there's a fucking
Right.
huge part. Guys that roll coal and shit like that Nobody started rolling coal because it looks cool to fucking mess your goddamn diesel engine up on your goddamn really expensive fucking pick 'em up truck.
That guy.
Right? Yeah, like
We got to go back. What the fuck is rolling coal?
Oh Jesus! All right, so if you take a diesel and basically run it like fucking shit, like just pour way too much. I think it's poured way too much gas through it and shit, and then you'll put like giant fucking fart pipes on the exhaust
I think I saw this the other day.
Yeah,
and they will
clouds
literally
of
blow
fucking black
yeah,
smoke.
Yeah,
and
it's like a semi, but like 10,000 times worse.
I saw this
It's
the
made
other
to do
day.
it.
And I was
Basically, like,
Yeah,
it's what
and
you
the
do.
ones that aren't quite as big of an asshole will like shoot it straight up, but a lot of them will fucking shoot it straight down and back, and then wait until they're in front of a fucking car that they want to fuck with, or next to like people they want to fuck with. I mean, it's literally like a fucking pitch black cloud.
I saw this the other day. I was with Peyton. We're driving, and there was some guy with a diesel truck that had pipes coming up, and he like took off in front of us. This huge cloud of black smoke, and I said, "Oh my God, Peyton, what a bummer! That guy's
Yeah, he's ruining his fucking
well."
engine.
But I didn't realize he was doing it on purpose. I was
Yep.
like, that sucks. That's a super nice truck, and that guy's like,
You just-
it's dying. Like you know,
Yeah.
his engine's blowing
Yeah.
or something.
But
I mean, I
he's
don't know
triggering
if they
lip
realize
times, and
that
that's
it's-
the point. That's the entire point. It's literally a fucking thing.
Huh.
Yeah, it pisses people off.
Yeah.
And
Usually
and I
they'll
don't think
have
that-
like a sticker that says Prius repellent on it or something like that.
right when
I mean,
really
like,
all
okay,
they need to do is invest in
kinda
a sticker
clever,
that says
but-
"I
yeah.
fuck blood relatives." You know.
That's funny. But yeah, that does drive me nuts. The whole idea of people just, I believe,
Yeah, being anti something.
I want to be. Yeah, I think.
Ugh, if only I didn't engage in that shit.
You do?
Oh, I mean, engage in like needling, people that on the other side of things for fun.
It's
I
hard
mean,
not to. I mean,
fucking
so
do.
sticking it is a terrible fucking disease. I mean, that's how we got where we fucking are in our current political climate. But I'm guilty of it too. Like honestly, I was not like fucking. I wasn't excited about fucking the Hill Dog becoming president.
Right.
But when she did, I was gonna rub that shit in. Like that's wasn't my first choice. Was the only sane choice, but I knew how much it would just fucking trigger people. And when I thought it was a foregone conclusion, I was like, all right, fine. I guess. I mean, the silver lining to this is I get to fucking really dig it in and like. Ooh, I guess I got my fucking just desserts on that one.
I was ready to be really magnanimous, to be honest. No, I fucking wasn't.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
Exactly.
But, but I didn't think that was a real thing. And it turned out it's fucking not. But, whatever. They're still lining up to fucking support him, in the face of everything and whatever.
It's a weird one. I remember
I'm gonna
when
fucking vote for John McCain in the next election. And
when Trump
vote.
won.
yes.
When Trump won, I remember I put out a Facebook post and I what I said was like, there's no two ways about it. Our political system works, like, because there are zero powers that be that could possibly have wanted this outcome. So there are no puppet masters. Like,
Yeah. The deep state is not a goddamn thing.
because
or this
there
would
is
have never
zero
happened.
chance that the deep state was like.
or like 4 years in, like, well, the deep state's trying to get him fucking impeached. The deep state is pretty fucking pathetic. Jesus
that's the
Christ.
case,
Like,
right.
What is it, like
Right.
one guy in a fucking cubicle buried under the Pentagon
That's
somewhere being like,
this
I'm
motherfucker's
gonna
having
send
a
out
tea party
nasty
with dolls
email.
all around the table and shit like that. He's monologuing because your
Yep.
dolls aren't talking,
Yeah, and then like the Mueller report was so.
But that's, it gets back to the rolling coal, I think is, a huge part of Trump's charm. And I mean, this is clear by a lot of the people that I fucking know that, they, fuck you, I voted for Trump. The fact that you voted for Trump is saying fuck you. You don't have to say them both. You know? I mean,
Yep.
So it's the same fucking thing as the rolling coal,
Yeah.
And
and it works. 'Cause, I
yes,
mean, fucking,
it does.
So how do we square that with the idea of Second Amendment rights and being gun nuts?
no, yeah, back to the, wow, it took a while to circle
See,
back
this
to
is
that
what we
one.
do.
This is what we do. Yeah.
I would check the time, but I fucking put a dead watch on this morning because I was running late.
And we don't believe in time here.
Yeah.
How do we square that? Like, how does that work?
That is that
Well,
is the big
when you
question.
say-
But I mean, I think not like for I'm like myself, and like I think I've talked to both you guys about this. For me, like I'm just not afraid of the conversation. You know, like I want to hear like I'm not convinced that like what is going to work to curb gun violence, and especially the really horrific shit that that we see like in schools and stuff. But like whatever it is, like I just want like the grown-ups to sit down at a table and hash some shit out, and and try to figure this out as best we can.
fucking try
Like,
something at this
as soon
point.
as you like let people know that you're not afraid of the conversation, then you're a fucking gun grabber,
Yep.
Because if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. So we can't pass any fucking law, no matter
Yeah.
whether it makes sense or not.
Yep.
That's fucking bullshit. I mean, it's stupid. It's a fucking stupid thing to say. It's a fucking dumb way to think. Congratulations.
So what if there was a candidate that's going to run in the next election that is just totally perfect in all ways, shapes, and forms, except they are a completely anti-Second Amendment, and are they going to come and get your
at this
guns?
point, I would vote for them just because of the simple fact that there's no fucking way that they will
Yeah.
ever take
Not
the
gonna
guns
happen.
away from the United States. It's just it will never happen. We have fucking 3 equal branches of government for a reason. People tend to fucking forget that, but there is no goddamn way.
Yeah.
that
You'd vote for that person and hope that they don't focus too much on that shit.
and
'cause
even if
it's
they
never gonna
do,
fucking
it's
happen.
it's just going to fucking lame duck their presidency.
Yeah.
They will never fucking get it done. Now you maybe curtail some shit. They might actually pass some. They might pass some legislation that's inconvenient for me. That would be about the worst case scenario.
Like what? Like
Like-
background checks at
like enhanced background checks, or maybe a more waiting period. They might even like the worst case scenario I can think of is some way semi-autos becoming like either controlled or something like that. Like
you'd have to get a special
you'd
license.
have to get like a class 3 or whatever, or whatever the fuck it is. Like right now, you can own a machine gun, but it has to be one made prior to a certain date. That's why they're so fucking expensive. But if you've got like fucking 20 grand, you can buy a goddamn machine gun. You can
Right.
do the paperwork, you can get one. Like it's it's no problem if you got the money. I can see semi-autos going that way at some point. I'm like, I don't like the idea because I don't like anything other than semi-autos. They're the only guns that are fun to shoot, really. I mean, I'm not a wheel gun guy.
Unless you're into muzzle loaders and shit, which I'm not.
I have one. I like it. I actually have a few.
My
but
brother loves
they're
that shit.
Fun as shit, but you can't just go dump 1,000 rounds of the muzzle loader unless you've
Unless
got
you've
a week.
got a week.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, what do I need a semi-auto for? Not a goddamn thing. But like, like the hardcore gun guys will say, like, well, for protecting your fucking house and shit. Like, well, I have a fucking shotgun that will work just fucking fine. Or like mag limits are one of the things I think would be good. But
Right.
that's one of those slippery slope things. And like I said, it would be inconvenient for me. I love like having a fucking 40-round mag at the range.
Yeah,
Do I need it for anything? No. Well, what if you're fucking defending your home? If I need 40 rounds to defend my fucking home
It's
in
the
one
zombies.
mag?
It's the zombie
Right,
apocalypse.
yeah. Either
We're in
I either
trouble at
did
this
something
point.
to deserve whatever is fucking happening to me, or it's the end times and shit.
Or you shoot like shit.
Also fucking true. Like, and then the argument to that would be like, well, you can't fucking just go collect all the old mag. Well, we had that thing a while ago. So we had during the god damn it, was it the first Bush years? When was the Brady bill going into effect?
Yeah, I think
Long
it was
time
old.
ago. But at that point, like, you couldn't have more than a 10-round mag for your fucking pistol.
Right.
You could get them though. They were fucking obscenely expensive. It was like $150 for a 12-round mag for my HK USP. So I could either fucking have a 10-round mag for $15 or a 12-round mag for $150. So I was like, well, I guess I'm going to have fucking 10-round mags.
Right.
So, I mean, that's kind of the same thing that would happen now. You can't say, like, all right, all of these legally produced, legally bought magazines are now fucking illegal. You would have to, going forward, say, like, all right, everything going forward is made with 10 rounds unless it's stamped LEO, law enforcement only or whatever. And that's the way the shit splats. You can have a 10-round mag.
So what about like Australia? I hear all the time like we're gonna
didn't
be just
start
like
off
Australia where like they came and gathered everybody's guns up.
No, that'll never happen. Plus, Australia was, I mean, they were kind of founded on they were a crown colony. They were not used to, I mean, they had a lot more freedom than people in England did as far as that stuff goes. But they were never used to that being part of their cultural identity or anything like that. I mean, it was a lot easier sell there because, I mean, the people were on board with it.
Right.
Like, that would never happen here.
I mean,
they weren't prying guns out of cold dead fingers fucking down there, and that's what would happen here.
And I want to be convinced, you know, like when I say I'm not afraid of the conversation, I mean, I don't know what is reasonable and what is not, you know, like I think about it a lot.
You can't seize people's personal property. Like, that's the thing. Like, you can't take things that are already in the population. And then at that point, well, somebody was going to point out that there's more fucking guns than people. So why even try? Well, at some point, I mean, we're not talking a quick solution here. This is a solution that will take decades, more than decades, because basically, you know, at some point, let's say everybody's grandfathered in that has a certain type of firearm that's now, you know, illegal to purchase without special permits and shit like that. Well, when your fucking sear breaks or your fucking, like, if you can't get parts to fix shit anymore, that gun then ages out of the pool, and then you have less of that type of firearm. But it will take fucking decades to have.
The thing that
it's kind of a cultural thing too, really. You know, like, it's clear that, like, what's at the root of the gun violence issue is kind of a problem that we have with, you know, our culture.
Oh, yeah, no.
And mental health.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Yeah.
You know,
well, see, that's what I'm saying.
It's
like,
exacerbated by the availability.
Sure. And anybody that says, well, they'll just use something else. Well,
I would much
motherfucker,
rather
like,
have some guy running around with a fucking
right.
club trying to fucking
Have
kill
you ever
people.
fucking tried to kill people with a cheese grater? Because, man, they're dangerous, but they're not that fucking dangerous. I mean,
Yep.
like, there's a reason that they use the weapons that they do. So
Yeah.
that argument is fucking stupid. If you catch yourself using it, might be a dumbass.
I'm not convinced, though, that gun regulation would actually curb.
It wouldn't fix it, but it would help. Like, the thing is, so what you're trying to do is you're trying to delay it from happening. You're trying to make it harder to happen. Like, so let's take Newtown. Like, that fucking guy, there is no goddamn way that he wouldn't have set off somebody's alarm if he was trying to, like, apply to have that type of firearm. Like, let's say high capacity.
Uh,
Remind me what Newtown happened. What happened
Where
in
we
Newtown?
basically decided the gun fucking control thing was over because we had about 20 kindergartners fucking murdered, and we were like, yeah, but at least the guns are safe. Let's move on. Like, that was basically the end of the gun debate. There is no more gun debate in this country, realistically, because if we didn't do anything after that, no one is going to ever fucking do anything. What could be more horrific than that that's going to spur people to fucking do anything?
So the guy who,
remember when you used to, like, be really affected by that stuff? I remember, like, Sandy Hook. Like, I remember,
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Was
I
that
remember,
Newtown?
Was it Sandy Hook? Was that the one that?
is that the one where
I might have used the wrong.
yes.
is that the one
was
where
really
Obama
years
went
ago.
on and like and talked and like
Yeah,
teared up?
Yeah.
The fact that we
and
can't
it
keep
was
them
fake
fucking
beards and
straight
shit.
and we follow events and shit.
Right.
That's an issue.
I
but
thought
like
that was like that was
it wasn't that many years ago
yeah.
that I'm reading about this. Like the first really publicized. The first big publicized school shooting and stuff. And I'm and I sit there and I read it and I'm crying. And now, right? And now I'm like, oh, another one? Fuck,
Yeah.
This is horrible. But I'm not crying anymore.
Yeah. And you look at the numbers and you're like,
we're so fucking
huh.
like,
Yeah, well, that's it. They didn't break the numbers of fucking
and maybe that's just me. Maybe
Sandy
I'm
Hook or the
desensitized now,
Pulse
and
or-
like everybody else is fucking
everybody's desensitized at this point.
would like I'd like to think I'm not a huge piece of shit and everybody else is wonderful, but I mean, it's yeah. I mean, they just too fucking commonplace now, and it's ridiculous. And what is the answer? Don't know. Would love to find it. I don't have any. I'm like, Lord knows, I don't have any answers. I'm like a man of average intelligence at best, and I do not know what the I want to be convinced. I want to figure it out, and I want to be presented with the evidence. I want I want this to be worked out, which means we have to have the conversation that everybody fucking gets out super crazy about as soon as it's brought up. So fucking counterproductive.
Right. It seems to be the one for me that it's like such the line in the sand for so many people that I like. I mean, one of the things I always say about
completely reasonable people
And then-
disagree on this because I mean, there's a lot of just deep deep-seated like preconceptions and like you said, like lines in the sand. Like that's like, you know, whoop. All right, we just crossed that. We can't talk about this anymore because there's a very slim possibility you might take my guns. And
Right. Right.
like I don't ever see that happening, but like that would be the kind of the like for like I was talking about, like if there's ever a semi-auto ban, like it's just that word. Like right now, anybody that's watching is, you know,
Just bristles.
Yeah.
All 8 of them.
I
are just
have,
Like, whoa.
yeah. Well, listening, eventually, like, but that will just fucking spike some blood pressure, like literally right now.
I might have taken care of a few of those earlier. They might have tuned out already. So.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah. We've this really should have been just retitled like fucking 3 libtards for this podcast because like,
Well, there was
we
one-
are
that-
so fucking close on like so many fucking points.
That was one of the
there's
names
not a
we
lot
batted
of-
around. So
But yeah, no. So, yeah, like yeah, personally, I mean that fucking like I would hate to fucking, you know, lose my guns or something, but I don't think it will ever fucking happen. Like the mag limit would be a pain in the ass for me, and it would, like, as people would point out, it's not gonna fucking solve gun violence. Like, you know, if you have a 10-round mag, you can still fucking just have a fucking shitload of 10-round mags. If you practice reloads, you can do a lot of fucking damage.
So what would
Nothing just
Actually
by itself,
curb-
but like that would like
that's the phone here. No, so
like nothing, no one thing will ever fix it. Like we need to fucking reinstitute like our public health program where we shut down all those fucking mental hospitals and shit during
right. Yep.
Oh fuck, when was that? Was that St. Reagan that did that?
Yeah, I don't know. I know what happened in Brainerd when the state hospital closed down, and I mean,
Yeah.
like that was.
Yeah, it was started off quite a while ago, but I mean, fucking like that's the kind of thing where that should have never been closed down. Fucking A, like I mean, how many fucking like just people that could have been fixed or that should never have been released into society are fucking just there we go, and it's
Voting
still
for Donald Trump now. Sorry, kidding. It's a joke.
Not really. No, I know many lovely people who voted for Trump.
Wonderful people on both sides.
Yeah.
Fine people on both sides. But
Like, my mom voted for him, so I can't be too hard.
hey,
on
my whole
anybody.
family. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
come on,
My
let's face it.
entire fucking
great.
family.
I mean, like I have more. I have more conservative friends than I have liberal friends.
Yep.
You know, that's why I hide out in here with you guys. But no, I mean, and fuck, and like none of us are pure like people when people think of liberals, none of us are like straight like liberals, you know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we've all got our, you know,
I
we've all
don't
got
think
some
any of us are
conservative issues and
vegan
shit.
or fucking have ever had avocado toast. Or
And I don't
What
even know anything
Not that it
avocado
doesn't
toast is
sound bad.
delicious. I would
Oh,
love
really?
some avocado toast right now. Absolutely.
Shine.
And I was a vegan for 4 years, bitch.
Yeah,
but I
not
still
by
use
choice.
veggies. I mean-
that was
You know, people do stupid shit for women. I mean, you know, it happens. It happens.
yeah. It doesn't count. So
It's true. Doesn't count. So we covered that subject. Another thing I want to talk to you a little bit about is like your fasting. I know you've kind of had some, well, let's just say ups and downs. But lately you've been doing some like pretty people might consider it extreme fasting. What's
lately. I've been doing
well,
pretty normal.
within
but
the last
previous,
couple of years.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
37 days.
37 days with basically nothing.
Not actually nothing. Like I didn't do. I think I did like 2 or 3 broths. Like I have these fucking little. What are the bouillon cubes?
Yeah,
which
right.
I would cut in half, and make myself a cup of broth with one of them.
And that was like your cheat meal.
It was like 6 calories, I think, and that was what I would do when Game of Thrones was on, instead of like cooking up an entire fucking half of a cow and shit like that, like I previously did. But so, anyways, yeah. One day I was sitting at the work, and Sam came in, and this is when I was about 280 pounds, and Sam said like, so I've been looking at this fasting thing, and I'm like, oh, what fasting? Well, that sounds kind of foo-foo. But he's like, no.
It's like the least foo-foo of all diets. It's like you eat nothing.
Well, no, but I mean, like, fasting sounds like, you know, I'm going to become one with myself and all this lame shit. And
You're like,
whatever. And then he started
hunger strike?
explaining it. And then one of the things he said that got my attention was autophagy. And that's where your body basically scavenges old shitty cells for shit that it needs, because it's not getting anything anymore. So it's like, you know, fuck, we need some fucking proteins, or we need this vitamin of whatever, and like there is none. There's nothing. So I'm gonna go. I can start breaking down cells for it. But well, that looks like a shitty cell that's not doing anything because it's been damaged, and we didn't do anything before because as you know, basically a society, we are not in a fucking famine situation.
Right.
Ever. I mean,
Right.
we eat so much that we don't need, and that was one of the interesting things I found when I was doing it. But so anyway, Sam was telling me about this, and I was like, that sounds kind of interesting. I am super fat right now, and I can't sleep on my back anymore, so maybe I should try something. Fuck it, I'm just gonna stop eating. And I wasn't doing Atkins or anything like that up till then. Like I went straight from fucking eating pizza and fucking garbage to just nothing. And I was like, well, let's see how this goes.
And how'd you feel?
Fine, actually, kind of right away. Like I
Really?
didn't like. A lot of people say there's like a transitional period for the first 2-3 days where you get like super fucking hungry and you get headaches and shit like that. And like 2 days in, I'm like, kind of bored, want to eat, but not hungry actually. About a week in, kind of bored, want to eat, not hungry though. And it just kept going like that. Like I just, because you go into ketosis doing it, and I've done the Atkins on and off so many times. I think my body's probably used to doing ketosis.
Right.
So I just basically flipped over to ketosis right away.
Yep.
And I had 100 pounds of fucking fuel sitting on me.
Right. And your body just started.
Just started eating. It's about a pound a day, bro.
And I always am talking out of my ass because I don't actually know any of this stuff, but I've heard about the study at the University of Minnesota that they did during World War II. Have you heard anything about that?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, I should look into it
I've heard
more.
a ton of like,
But it,
stuff about fasting and stories and stuff like that. And I don't. Spoiler alert, I haven't done any of my own research.
yeah, well, that's kind of interesting.
I rely on smart people that I talk to on a regular basis to inform me of the stuff I really need to know.
We're so different. So if I decided to, and I have done a little bit of fasting, and I've done a little bit of research about it, but I mean, I've done like a 3-day fast just to kick myself off on the next time I want to get,
Yeah, if you want to go low carb but fast.
Yeah,
starting
I
off with
fast
like a 3-day fast,
fast, and then I
and
jump
you're in
because then you
ketosis.
hit ketosis,
Yep.
and then you jump in. And,
Yep.
But there was a really in-depth study done in the University of Minnesota during World War II where they took conscientious objectors and they split them into 2 groups. In one group, they put on a very low calorie diet,
Yep.
and the other group they starved.
Yeah, the starved group actually probably
the
went
starved
better, I would
group
imagine.
ended up with like almost like health benefits,
Yeah.
where the
'cause
low calorie group has like long-term
Yeah.
consequences.
So the starved group actually wound up getting into autophagy is what was going on there. And the low, like if you're basically tainting your fast with like little dribs and drabs of calories here and there,
Right.
You're knocking your body out of like, it's like, oh shit, we are gonna get food. Yeah, wait,
Right.
we killed that fucking mammoth. Time to switch back into fucking mammoth digesting mode. Where's the rest of the fucking mammoth, asshole?
Right.
And then, well, I'm gonna eat some of your muscles because fuck you. Thanks for fuck that.
And that's the real
Yep.
concern is that it's good that you're going, and that's what happens when you go on a
super
very
restricted
calorie diet.
yeah.
It just chews
Other
up
than
muscle
if
like
you're
crazy.
getting enough calories and restricted calories, that might be the secret to fucking longevity.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and if you think about the way that we evolved, as humans, and everybody's like, oh, but we've evolved, but we haven't evolved.
No, not in the last fucking 20,000 years.
Since
We haven't done shit.
Yeah. If anything, we've de-evolved a little bit because we've these days, if you have a ruptured appendix,
comment now.
you get an appendicitis.
Well, I was just thinking, you guys were talking about your experience with fasting and stuff, and I was thinking, sometimes I don't snack between breakfast and lunch. But
Yeah, but you also
haven't
you
evolved
do
at all.
something that burns all that shit. Though.
Yeah,
That's
well,
the thing.
not all that shit.
Yeah,
But
well, enough.
I mean, as far as not having evolved at all, I found out on one of those genealogy sites, one of those like.
Oh, you got some Cro-Magnon in you?
Oh my goodness!
You know how else to tell?
You're 99.9% Neanderthal.
So much Neanderthal. Like there was shit that I
yeah,
didn't.
yeah,
Like,
not
I had no
not
idea.
Neanderthal,
Like
but-
I had room for like my wisdom teeth to go in and stuff.
Yep.
That's not a modern human trait. That's a Neanderthal trait.
Interesting.
Stuff like that, and I'm just like, the more I read, I'm more research I'm doing, because like all those anthropology classes and stuff, like I already like had a pretty strong like, I had a pretty solid knowledge, but then I've been like out of the loop and shit, and I'm reading more stuff on Neanderthals, and I'm like, okay, gotcha. That does sound like somebody I know.
So
Shit,
you actually did the genealogy thing? You actually did
Yeah.
the like.
Yeah, Christine got it for me for Christmas, and I wasn't supposed to say that.
Why?
But
Whatever. So when it came back, it like said that you had a like what percentage? Or how does that work?
they show like a percentage of your like your markers, your Neanderthal markers in your DNA. And I met one person that had more than me, and she had a fuck ton. I mean, hers was she was basically like. I mean, I was.
And
just
she had a
amazed.
Klingon brow
Yeah, I was
ridge.
amazed she didn't have that fucking enormous brow. Like for the amount of Neanderthal markers, she could have had a sagittal crest, like a gorilla. But it was, I mean, which she did not. She's actually a lovely girl. But I was like,
listening.
holy shit, like that's awesome. But yeah, I had a lot. And and just the stuff I'm like reading more and more, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, that's me. Like, yeah, like whose wisdom teeth just grow in? Actually, quite a few people, because
It's
they're
all
fucking
physiological.
they're Neanderthals.
Yeah, it's all physiological traits. So like, there's no personality traits associated with Neanderthal or anything like that. Like, they don't attempt to do that, do they?
Not unless I'm trying to use it as an excuse or something like that for my bad
I mean,
behavior.
it's, the difference between Neanderthal and Homo sapiens sapiens is like basically almost nil, I think.
Yeah.
Like, especially like cognitively.
There are some like tiny but significant things like I forget what the hell the bone is in your throat and stuff.
Yeah.
Not being able to make all the same sounds. So like language might have been tough.
Yeah.
But like I remember like at one point, that's how fast stuff changes. At one point, everybody's like, "What happened to the Neanderthals? They all died. They became extinct. Did modern humans like hunt them into extinction?
Kind of fucked them out of existence."
Right. But basically, they just bred them out of existence. I mean, so like they're. Go figure. You can crossbreed them. Weird. But I mean,
It's like you get a really fancy guppy and a bunch of like other shitty guppies, and all of a sudden you don't have any more fancy guppy, but your guppy's a little different.
yeah.
It's a perfect analogy. How long ago did Neanderthal like disappear or get incorporated? Do we know?
Shit, now we're talking about stuff we need. One
Jamie?
Of those,
Yeah.
I need a Jamie.
I was thinking I was trying to think like what the fuck I'm going to talk about with you guys here. I was like, wait a minute, I could just be Jamie. I could just bring a laptop and fucking sit on the other side and be like,
Yeah.
like fuck.
Well, we do
just
need
fucking
an
beaker it.
assistant, but you got to wear a gimp suit apparently.
Yeah.
So-
You got a gimp suit?
Well, not yet because we don't have any sponsors.
It's going to be
We
crotchless.
told you you were
Start
going to
getting
love
sponsors.
Thark.
Like it has to
All
be crotchless gimp
suits
suits.
are crotchless.
Really?
Well, yeah, and they got the ball.
I thought
No, they're not. I mean,
No, I don't think they're all
I-
crotchless.
like-
Sometimes you want your gimp to be like asexual.
I apparently have no experience with gimp
Yeah.
suits.
These
two fuckers are experts.
here's the thing.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
It's like when people
think
say
it would
assless
change.
chaps, and I'm like, they're chaps. All chaps are assless.
Yeah.
Are you fucking
God damn
kidding
it,
me?
Kyle. We say so many of the same things. Yesterday, I was talking.
That's why they're not pants.
Last summer, yeah, they're called leather pants. If they're not. Last summer, I bought this little scooter. It's a little.
Oh, God damn it! I really thought you were gonna say, yeah.
You got to hear me out. So I buy this little 50cc scooter. It goes 25 miles an hour, and it is cool as shit, man. It's all chopped out. It's awesome. So I buy this thing. Of course, I put some fucking leather bags on it and shit, and then I buy myself some chaps, right? And leather.
Assless?
So I'm
Dress for the
telling
slide,
this
not the
story.
ride.
I was talking this guy I was working here last night, and this guy came in and he had I think it's a Ula is how you say it, but it's a Russian motorcycle. And it was
is
a
it
sidecar.
Ural?
Yeah.
Ural?
Ural.
Yeah,
Ural.
It's spelled Ural. I always thought it Ural or something like that. I have no idea how fucking
Sure.
Russians would pronounce it because who the fuck knows they're
Cool
Russians?
bike though, little sidecar.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
I mean,
they're awesome.
It was
they
like
look like old World War II messenger
it's
bikes.
taken right. Basically, they took the Nazi messenger bike and they just never stopped making them in Russia.
Hate those
Thing
motherfuckers,
is
but they had style.
Cool. But I'm talking to him about it, and then I start talking about my scooter. Led right into the scooter, and then some chick was here, and I said, yeah, and then I got chaps, and she goes, oh, assless, and I said, chaps. The chaps. And she's like, well, are they assless chaps? I'm like, just say it one more time, bitch. I mean, they're chaps. All chaps are assless. That's why they're called chaps. If they aren't, they're fucking pants. It's just crazy how often we say the exact same thing.
Yep.
It's either, I think it's the fools never differ thing. But. So we don't know exactly when Neanderthals went extinct. Now,
Man, I wanted to say 20,000 years, but I'm not pulling that out of my ass.
That was the same
Okay,
number I was going to go for.
okay.
But it just seems
I
like,
think
that's
you're-
kind of, that's Fertile Crescent era, isn't it? Like 20-ish?
well, so
But I mean,
So,
like,
I mean,
just like
it seems like that's kind of like anytime we have a thing, like, what's something happened a long time ago, but not a really long time ago. And I think like 20,000 years pops into our head because there's like a whole bunch of shit that happened.
so
20,000
the
years.
agricultural
We think.
revolution is supposedly happened like 20,000 years
Yeah,
ago.
that's
and all
like
that
so
kind of
that
stuff,
like that sounds like a good time for Neanderthals to go extinct too.
Right.
Like that's exactly what I was thinking.
That's what I was thinking as well, and it kind of corresponds with.
I just need to say these things with more confidence, like I normally do. But you guys are smart, so like,
No,
you know, like you
see,
might not buy
that's
my shit. Like if I just, oh yes, definitely, because
Yes.
I'm an expert.
They went extinct.
No.
So I've been reading these books by Graham Hancock. Do you guys know who Graham Hancock is? He's
Oh wait, is it Handcock or Hamcock?
whatever. Hancock, I think. I don't fucking know.
Because Hamcock is a fucking awesome name.
Right? Like,
I don't know what his fucking name is, but
Especially
he's
like
really.
Graham, what's it, Graham Hamcock the Third. Like it's just that would be a pretty fucking spiffy name. to
He-
put out.
hey, Big Dick, get over here.
This, I'm in control. I want a gavel, goddammit. So,
Proceed.
he wrote these books. He's had a bunch of them, but he kind of has this this theory about how there was a huge catastrophe right during the last ice age, like a large comet hit and basically wiped out everybody, and it's whatever. And there's actually quite a bit of science. So give me that look, because
That's my
way
thinking.
less.
Look, I'm trying to remember because I was
way less smart.
listening to.
Joe Rogan's
someone-
had him on a couple of times.
That's probably where I was listening to
Super
somebody on
interesting
there.
stuff.
Yeah,
But my question was, and of course, neither of you are fucking qualified to answer this. I was wondering if that corresponded with the extinction absorption of the Neanderthal, because it just kind of makes sense. It all kind of seems like it happened about the same time. So.
Of course, I mean, for us, like when we're thinking, getting it back to like the whole, like if it happened a really long time ago, like around the same time is a long time. Like there's a big old gap in there that but yeah, I wish I knew.
Like
I wish
to
I had
us.
better recall
So
on
what
that.
you're saying is like, was it 20,000 years ago or was it 18,000 years ago? There's no difference to us.
No.
That's
Yeah,
20,000
no,
years.
like,
But when
which
you
is
think about
so
that,
weird, like-
right, 2,000 years ago, I mean, JC was walking around
Right.
getting fucking nailed to trees and shit.
Yeah.
So like maybe, but
We would've had him on the
like,
show.
we totally could have had him on the show.
So we
But-
weren't any less intelligent 20,000 years ago.
Nope, brains
so
haven't
how did,
changed in-
Yeah, so 20,000 years to 18,000 years ago is 0 fucking AD till now. And like we went from, fishes and loaves to fucking nukes in, well, less than 2,000 years.
Right.
So like it's
Really a couple hundred
It is
years.
so fucking weird. I mean, yeah, Industrial Revolution, all that shit kicked stuff off, but like how did we just faff about like fucking figuring out wheels and shit for so goddamn long? And then all of a sudden, like, boom! Like it's this exponential fucking curve.
Yeah, what is that? What's that concept of how like technology like
Oh, the event,
Grow-
like the singularity happening
yeah,
eventually?
the singularity
or-
happening eventually, but how technology like doubles every 18 months. There's a law of
There's a processor one for Moore's Law.
Moore's law. That's what it's
Yeah.
called. Moore's law. That
Yeah, which
that
actually
speed-
we've kind of broke Moore's Law for processors now. 'Cause
Yeah, kinda.
Intel's fucking off. Thanks. I bought your 9900K assholes, and now it's fucking not the cat's ass anymore.
But it is kind of interesting how you start out with like oh, we can now plant the shit in rows to
Yeah.
like, but even though technology like continued to advance, it was like.
Yeah, it's
Slow.
springboarding off of itself.
So
I mean,
what
it
I
makes
what I
sense, but-
think the difference is that we now know I don't have to know shit. Okay? I just replaced the fucking timing belt in my car. I don't know how to do that. But I went on fucking YouTube and I watched a 3-hour video
the
on
internet
how to do it.
The internet is like
and,
fire and
and
shit.
then
communal brain.
I was able to do it.
Yep.
I followed
Yeah.
the directions. Well, that's fucking amazing
Yeah.
because what do they call it? Ancestral knowledge or
Yeah,
whatever?
ancestral memory.
Ancestral memory. I mean, it's like instantaneous now.
The terrifying end of that is like go our generation, now go another generation, now go one more after that, and then take the internet away.
Right.
Yep.
Well,
You're all gonna fucking die.
going back to Grand Hampton.
Well, okay, when
yeah.
I say you all, I mean everybody except like the Amish.
Right,
And the
but
thing,
that's
we're old
exactly
enough
it.
to remember
or
not having it,
or
too.
the or like people who essentially still live as hunter gatherers in the Amazon and so on and so forth.
If there is any
Island where they-
Amazon,
yeah,
2 generations from now.
Senegal, or there's some fucking island where like they're not contacted because if you do contact them, they will fucking put spears in you. And
Prime Directive.
no, there's
I don't know.
like the
Papua
last,
New Guinea is pretty like the
they're-
crocodile people are pretty
there's the
badass.
last- they're uncontacted.
Oh, they have no
some,
contact.
yeah, some fucking missionary went out there and got his fucking ass full of holes, and people were like, "Oh my god, it's terrible." It's like, dumb fuck. Like, that's what you get.
That's what you get,
Jesus
bro.
Christ. Thanks for trying to bring diseases to them, asshole.
Well, yeah, there's that. But that Graham Hancock talks a lot about
Hancock.
whichever his name is. Talks a lot about that particular thing about how like after the last major cataclysm, the people that did survive were the ones that were already living that rough life because the people that were more settled, because he has an ancient civilization concept twist to it, but the people that were more settled were less able to make the transition. Because you're right, like, I don't know if I could live without the internet. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm positive my son
Would be
couldn't
a
live without the
nightmare.
internet, and I can't imagine my grandchild living in it without the internet in another 20 years, or not even the internet. It won't even probably be the internet anymore,
Yeah, no, it's weird. So remembering how like it's taken away a few things. So like when I first started doing like chainmail and stuff like that, like
Right?
not everyone knew how to do it and shit because I learned from a guy that I met.
Right.
And then like I got a hold of like a pamphlet, basically like photocopied and stapled together book that
Yep.
explained all how to like that and how to make arbalists and shit like that. Like back when I was an SCA nerd.
Right.
But like that was the only way you could find out how to do it. Like
SCA is the Society for Creative Anachronism.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're getting
it's-
down geek road. But you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. Like, it is...
yeah, and like now, like I can just fucking hop on YouTube and be like, I do like I was like trying to make some like flowers out of scale because I've been doing scale mail lately. I was fucking like, oh, this would be super. And I was trying to figure out myself, and it was fucking hard because there was like, you have the exact same like right size rings and shit. And like, I bet like if I go to YouTube, like, oh, there we go, done.
Right.
This guy just told me everything I fucking needed to know, and he fucking figured out all the pitfalls and shit ahead of me, and fucking.
It is interesting that it did take something away because now, like,
Yeah, like
you don't have to
yeah.
work as hard to be... On the other hand, it still amazes me how little people do, Like,
Oh, yeah. We
like,
squander it on fucking cat videos and fucking
well,
bullshit.
I
Like,
mean,
it's
let's
an
not
amazing
point out how
tool.
many useless things are out there on YouTube.
Yeah.
This show, but also, I'm saying like the average person doesn't. I don't know if they do or not, but I don't see the average person going like, "Oh, I wanna make a cool Halloween costume," and then go out and like figure out how to do it and like get on YouTube and like even
Yeah.
they're just like Amazon,
Yeah.
slutty nurse,
You don't even have to type in slutty.
Yeah.
Like
It
basically
just
every women's
nurse
Halloween
is gonna-
costume, you just punch that shit
Yeah.
in, and it's gonna come back slutty.
So speaking of slutty
Fucking
nurses, one of the like I haven't done it for a while, but when I was, you guys remember when I used that JC costume?
And
for
a shout out
Halloween?
to all you real slutty nurses out there.
Yes, the JC costume. So
So-
Tharg for years and years went every Halloween as Jesus Christ, and the first year he did it, like he spent hours and hours and hours safety pinning
Yeah.
a big white sheet. And I was like, dude, you know, it's not that hard to fucking sew. Like, you could have learned to sew in the time it
Yeah, I
took
didn't
you to
have a
like
sewing machine.
with a needle and thread, brah. It's not that hard. Yeah, but, hooking together hundreds upon hundreds of safety pins.
It wasn't hundreds.
That's
It was 100-ish.
hundreds. Anyway,
Yeah.
so Jesus Christ.
I was speaking of slutty nurses. I had the whole fucking JC outfit on with the fucking the crown of thorns. I really still need a better crown of thorns. I'd like
Pretty
to
damn good, though.
real, yeah. But now I am in the downstairs of Mike still had it, so it would've been
Okay, the Inferno,
Yeah.
right.
So I was downstairs in the Inferno, and some girl comes up to me dressed as a no, sorry, it wasn't a slutty nurse. Why did I think of that? It was a slutty angel.
Oh,
It's like,
right.
but speaking of slutty Halloween costumes, like super slutty angel, and she comes up to me and she goes, "Oh my God, you are going to hell!" Like, not as a joke. She was just absolutely fucking. This slutty angel was just fucking sure that I was going to hell because I dressed up like a regular Jesus Christ. Like, I wasn't even a slutty Jesus Christ.
Why didn't you Why didn't you tell me about that when I was still writing "Take Your Top Off, Girl"?
Right, that would have been good.
But I thought that was just fucking great. I'm like, this is fantastic.
great.
Yep.
Huh.
So,
One
I
of
wonder
my
how you
favorite-
could do a slutty Jesus Christ. I suppose.
I think you just gotta hike
assless robe.
Hey, I got some chaps. They're assless. One of my favorite Halloweens was we went out one time and you were obviously Jesus and I went as the JC Secret Service. And I just wore a suit, and I just held my hand up to my ear, and I just like we'd walk into the bar, and I'd be like, "Please step aside, Son of God coming through." And
I dimly remember that.
Yep. For the first 15 minutes, you were totally in, and then it kind of went south from there. But that was also the year that Brian Tuma was went as Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Hunter S. Thompson.
Hunter was a lawyer.
He was sitting. We were at the Iron Rail, and I'm like looking across the bar, and there's this dude who, I mean, it is fucking Hunter Thompson, man. It's perfect. Hat and the big glasses, and he's got this like cigarette floating around his mouth. He's already got the big eyes. I was like freaking me out, but I didn't even recognize him because it was such a good outfit. It was pretty awesome. Oh, I don't know why we're on to Halloween, but the other Halloween that I hung out with you that I always remember is when I went as the Jersey boy, dude. Do you remember what are they called? Jerk boy or whatever? You know, Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore.
Well, yeah. What are they called?
Oh, there's Guidos.
Guidos. I was a Guido. So I had a headband, like hat, but it had hair, right? And I shaved my beard and I had a little flavor saver and I wore like really. I mean, I shaved my beard, and I was 40. Time, so 6 years ago, and I was gonna meet you at time Liquor Pigs probably is what it was. I get carded on the way in to Liquor Pigs, and the bouncer, I'd known him for 15 years, and I like hand him my ID, and he goes, "Oh Jesus Christ, you gotta be shitting me!" So I go in, then I sit next to you, and you're sitting there at the bar. I sit next to you, and you look over, and you don't even register me. And I'm like, "What's up?" And you're like, and then, you know, he's kind of, you're just like, "What a douche." And then I can't get a fucking drink.
It's
right?
because you were there and he didn't think you were. It was a costume.
I'm trying to get a drink. I can't get a drink, which is weird because I always. And then I'm like, well, this kind of sucks. I can't get a drink, and Tharg won't talk to me. So I start like scooting a little closer to him, and he just keeps scooting away. And then pretty soon I just reached over and grabbed his leg, and he's like, "What the fuck? Oh, Jesus Christ!" I was like, that was so good though. I mean, fucking didn't recognize me, even though he knew I was meeting him there. Like, so crazy. That was a good outfit. That's what happens if you shave your beard.
Oh yeah, no, that's one thing I'm not gonna do. I've done that once before. Fucking Jesus, about 20 years ago now, I think.
Shaved your beard?
Yeah, it was an accident. I was trying to fucking trim it, like, and I
you
was
got
like,
too far on one
and I was
side.
like, oh nope, a little further down,
Overcompensated,
and then I fucking had like the soul patch left. And I was like, oh, that's lame, and just well, let's just see, like, oh, sweet fucking Christ, what have I done? No.
That was even before I knew you.
Oh, yeah, thank God. Yeah. No, I was, I didn't leave the house as much as possible until I fucking grew it mostly back. It was terrible. Just fucking terrible.
That's funny. I haven't been clean shaven in a long time.
Yeah,
but
beards
I'm
are
not
prosthetic chins for a lot of us.
Oh,
and
myself
me in
included, for
particular.
sure.
Like whenever I see Kirk Douglas, I'm like, that motherfucking chin. That, God damn it, God has blessed him. And I don't believe in God, but if there was a God, he would be responsible for that fucking chin.
He'd have a Spartacus chin too.
Yep. So then.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sure. I'm sure. God has a Spartacus chin. Actually, when I had that DMT trip,
Under the beard.
like, that
Oh
was,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, of course, over
It
the.
was all.
over-
It was all.
He's
It was
got
all
the double
chin
whammy.
dimples.
He is God.
Yep.
It's all chin dimples.
He has a smaller Spartacus chin on the end of his Spartacus chin. And then within the dimple, there is another Spartacus chin.
Hey, speaking of Spartacus, did you guys watch the Stars series Spartacus? Did you guys ever watch that?
Yeah.
Boy, you seem all disappointed. I fucking loved it. I could totally like. I was okay with the ridiculous, gratuitous violence. I was okay with the like ridiculous sex. The story was fucking really good.
So,
Yeah, actually, even
I mean, it's got
relatively
the Bobs and the
historically
Jeans,
accurate, as much as it can be, because I mean you're talking about like Spartacus, which like that was like the first big government cover up,
Yeah.
because
you know the guy that plays the big badass in there. His name's Manu. I forget his last name in real life, but he played
Manu, the Hands of Fate.
he played the like the
like the tough guy when Spartacus first got there. He
oh
was
yeah
the
yeah
number one dude, and I can't remember his name on the
Croesus
show.
Oh, was he
his name
the
on the show.
trainer?
And,
No, not the trainer, but the trainer's fucking awesome too. But
and
you're talking about
played,
Crixus, yeah.
He played Deathstroke the Terminator on Arrow and stuff like that. And I'm kind of a fan. He was like super badass. And then I saw him at Comic-Con several years
really?
ago. Comic-Con because I'm a fucking huge nerd. And
That's literally true.
I'm like, oh, cool. Like, there he is, And as I got closer, he's shrinking and he's shrinking. And finally, I'm like, oh, you're adorable. I get up, like, because I see him, like, on TV. I'm like, this guy's a god, And then I get up close to him and I'm like, oh, like, I would
You just
carry
picked
around
him
my
up and
purse,
nursed him?
like, and I was just like, oh, shit, for real? Like, this is you? But no, I'm a fan. The guy's a cool actor and shit. Gets all the cool roles. But
He was really tiny. Like,
not really tiny, but like compared to how he looks on TV, he was not a big man. I mean,
Like
just
5'10" or something?
Like, well, no, shorter. I mean, I'm 5'10". He was like shorter than I'm pretty sure he was shorter than me. I think his shoulders were like that wide, and I'm just like, you're not a hulking brute at all,
You have a microphone.
Oh.
Maybe like wearing the microphones would be a thing for the next one.
Yeah, we thought about it.
Like the ones that go on your collar, or
Yeah, lapel mics. They're an option. That's actually something that came up.
or an Omni, like a really good Omni, right in the middle of the table, because there's not a lot of.
All right,
background
just
noise.
fucking listen. So there's
Or,
a couple of different options. There's a couple of different options. And I did a lot of research before I started this. And these are dynamic microphones, so you have to talk right into them. But the good thing about them is the cooler just turned on, and most of YouTube land is not going to hear that. Now you could use a condenser microphone, but if you're going to use a condenser microphone, which you don't have to be as close to, it picks up everything, so you have to have a really controlled studio.
Yep.
There is also the option of a lapel microphone. They're not great. They work okay.
Yeah.
Also, best if you have like a really good, controlled environment. And then lastly is a headset microphone where you get the earmuffs and the headset. And I like it, but Kyle and I are
But you don't
so
need-
goddamn good looking that
Yes, you don't need the
Don't wanna
earmuffs
mess with
part, though,
that.
just the headset part.
yeah, they make them with just the
Yeah.
headset part.
That'd be okay.
All right.
And then
But most podcasts,
Or a subdermal
kind of go through-
mic implant, and it's like 0.1 essence.
and that's Jesus Christ. So reference like fucking.
We did have those
Nobody's
handheld
gonna get.
microphones, but then you know how I get. You know, I get a little overconfident at times, and sometimes I say things that I really firmly believe in, and I think I just hit a home run or whatever. So I'm always dropping them.
Right.
We
Yeah, and
went
I
through
couldn't
too many
afford
like
that. I couldn't afford that.
Ridiculous. My fault.
So somebody contacted Kyle.
Unless you do it in a bounce house.
That could be the new studio. Kyle had somebody contact
I've
him
never been in
that
one of
is
those.
interested. You fucking people, who's interested in like learning about like how we did this. They were actually impressed with the quality, which was okay. But I think I'm gonna do a little tangent episode coming up. Where I actually talk a little bit about the different equipment and the kind of setup and how to do it. It's pretty easy, honestly. I
It
learned.
doesn't look easy.
I learned
like,
it.
Honestly, this
I
looks
learned
complicated.
I learned from YouTube. Like I watched a couple of YouTube videos, and that's
The kids at home
basically
can't
what I
see
did.
it, but there's a lot of fucking knobs right over
There
there.
are some knobs. I don't know
Like-
how to use any of them.
There's 3 right in front of the camera.
I don't think we believe you don't know how to use knobs.
Well, I'm kind of good at knobs.
The
Knob
knob
jobs.
meister of Brainerd.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up. There is one thing. So you've been getting into doing some kind of cool fucking art lately, right?
Very cool.
I think cool art, and
Oh, yeah, see, it looks like art, but it's actually just kind of putting shit together.
well,
So
What
think
is
that's
art?
Pretty much
I
what
heard
art
a lot
is.
of people thought that I fucking cast that or something, which is not true. That is
Well,
it's like found art.
what
It's-
were you wondering, Kyle?
Oh yeah, if I could just bring you the skulls of my enemies, and
Can
Yeah.
you?
I would love to drink from them, but you know most of them have fractures and stuff, and I can't really. They won't hold.
That's what the epoxy's for.
Right.
I'm
So-
not scared of epoxy.
So if you
I'll drink
bring,
from that
if you
shit.
bring,
No, that's actually food grade epoxy. I spent like fucking $60 on an ass load of fucking food grade epoxy because I could only find it from one place, and it came in fucking a huge amount. So I have an unbelievable shit pile of food grade epoxy left. I'm
Fair
actually gonna
enough.
make I think I bought the shit to make like 3 more of those fucking things. 'Cause I have
Can you do my
ideas
hands
now.
so that I can eat everything just like this? It would save me so much fucking trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
So many
it's-
dishes.
It takes like fucking 18 hours to cure though, so
Oof.
I'm thinking maybe
I don't know if I can go
just
that long
knock it
without
out.
touching myself.
yeah.
Oh, so sorry. What was the question?
Blood of the Enemy. Yeah, that was pretty much it. That was just pretty much a slow pitch for Kyle to like ask if
You
you
know.
could, the blood of his enemy or the skulls of his enemy thing.
I don't
That's
have
pretty much it.
enemies.
Yeah.
I just have,
Well, there's a
Friends.
couple of people road rage enemies, but other than that,
you know, they're not
Yeah,
enemies.
so you've been
I'm-
doing
I'm
much
over
better.
it. Yeah, you know, I've decided to like take all my anger out on people that I'm meeting to sell stuff to on Facebook.
That's
no,
right.
but no, I really have been trying to curb that. You know, but like I said, you know, like I'm pretty fucking patient overall. You know, it's mostly things that like when I see that someone has like zero respect, like no regard for their fellow man, that shit offends me.
Like
as a
slow
person.
walking jaywalkers. Those are the lowest of the fucking low. Like it's like jaywalking, fine. If you see a
Sure.
car coming, if you're gone before the car gets there, that go ahead. But if you actually see a car coming and then you just fucking do the stroll, or especially the stroll in the lamp, like, oh motherfucker, I am in a car, and I'm really fucking right now. My brain is going like fucking. What is it? 2-3 years? Worth it? Not worth it. Like I'm doing the fucking mental calculations while you're fucking slow limping across front of my fucking car.
So am I like the only person who doesn't like suffer from this?
Man,
Everybody
I do, you know,
suffers
but
from road rage.
It's like,
man.
and I've been like
just
singling
really
out different
don't.
like areas of my life where I do get frustrated and stuff, and I don't go to many movies anymore, so I can't take it out on people
Oh.
in fucking movie theaters.
All right, wait.
Oh,
Like,
that
was-
This
used
is
to be a
actually
thing
one of
for
my
me.
favorite Kyle stories, and
Oh no.
it segues into Kyle being huge and the other guy small. So like, I mean, we all know how huge Kyle is.
Because I'm a bully.
He downplays it, but
Not a bully.
he is a looming, hulking figure. And we're in the theater watching
Well, I would loom if I was
Kingdom
taller.
of
You're least talking.
Kingdom of some. It was some fucking. Like,
Oh, that
period
horrible.
piece. It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was a Kingdom of Heaven.
Kingdom of Heaven.
But
Yeah.
You
a
were
great movie.
You were super excited to see it. I was super excited to see it. Anyways, we went to see it in the theater.
Director's cut's
And as we're sitting there, there's this kid behind us that's just yammering away, like, and fine, like the credits hadn't started yet or whatever, but then the credits for the movie start and the kid still won't shut up, like he's just like fucking going a mile a minute, and like just it wasn't just a kid being a kid, it was like one of those just hyperactive shits that his parents have done a terrible job in his upbringing. So just before the movie's ready to start, like credits are rolling, like actual movie credits, not like, you know, let's all go to the lobby. That it was past that shit. Kyle fucking stands up, turns around, just fucking looms over him. And, kid, if you don't shut up, I'm gonna beat you like I was your dad. And the kid's dad is sitting fucking right next to him. And they just both go,
not proud of myself for losing my composure like that.
oh, it was fucking awesome.
I'm fucking
But
proud
the
of
other
you.
theater goers
first
did
time
appreciate
that
it.
kid has ever. Oh yeah, I think the rest of the theater appreciated it too. Like, he was a yeah.
That kid was going to be a problem. We paid money to be in that goddamn movie.
Exactly. But that was the best.
I do have a problem. I don't like to go to the movie theater very often
It's
anymore.
tough.
Like, because it's like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to deal with everything. The new theater,
The new theater is
seats
actually pretty
are
fucking
pretty
sexy.
nice, and you get enough separation, so it's not as bad.
I went with somebody a little while ago, and they were talking about how like they took naps in the seats before. I'm like, how'd you do that? Like, well, I reclined them. I'm like, what? I don't know. So I went like, you know, once after that. Like,
so they
before I went
paid
with them.
$10 for a 2-hour nap. Seems
I don't know if they
seems like a
actually
lot.
napped. But so, anyways, I actually went to see it with them. I'm like, what are you talking about? He just reaches over and finds this button where my fucking fat thigh is too fucking big to see it from. Like, so it's hidden. If you have big fat fucking thighs, there's a button under your thigh that will fucking make the seats go.
It's awesome.
And I'm like, what the? How have I been missing out on this? Like, this is awesome.
If I get too comfortable in a theater, I'm falling asleep. I mean, even now
and
that I don't have like the
and they're
sleep
all
apnea thing
tiny
is
love
not
seats.
the real thing, but
Like the middle thing pops up too.
Yeah,
So
you
like
can,
if you go
love
with
seat.
somebody, that's pretty fucking awesome.
It is cool.
very
I just would.
hand-job friendly.
I just really.
one would think.
I really like to watch movies at home with my, like, be.
Yeah, I usually prefer
Plus,
to
I
see a
might
movie
I
that
might
really
bawl
wanna
like a
see.
baby, and I it gets embarrassing for my kid usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
so-
actually, I went and saw The Last Avengers.
That
with
was a
Peyton.
preview to The Incredibles 3.
Fucking Incredibles got me too. I mean,
Yeah, a lot of shit gets me. I'm a big-
I can suspend reality really well, and when I go see a movie, I like get sucked right in. And if they're playing those heartstrings, man, it just gets me every time. But I went and saw the Last Avengers movie with Peyton, and we get done, and he goes, Ted,
Are you gonna be okay?
do you cry during every movie? And I was like,
Every movie where
Fuck-
you're supposed to, yeah.
fuck you little shit. My lips still quivering. I got tears running down my face. I'm like, yeah, it was rough.
I'm going to get back into going to movies by myself, just because like a lot of the shit that I like, Christine's not super interested in. I have different, like my schedule is kind of weird compared to a lot of people's. So I did it for the first time, and when I went to The Revenant, which was such a one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Really? And I didn't like that one either.
Weird.
Weird, because we agree on
Fucking
99.9%. I mean, I didn't hate it. I just was like,
I loved it.
Was that the one where
and-
Leonardo DiCaprio
Yeah.
fucked a
Yeah.
bear to death?
Yes.
yeah. It was actually a pretty good scene. That was a good scene, but it was like, I don't know.
And
But-
like one of my favorite parts was like, and I thought as good as Leonardo DiCaprio was, I thought that Tom Hardy was super brilliant in there, just because like
is he not good
And they,
in?
that's true. The way that he kept like talking himself into like, no, this is what we had to do. He's talking to like young Jim Bridger. He's like he's talking himself into it too. And that just reminded me of how people like do evil shit. You know,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
you don't
psych
just like
themselves up
it's not
for
because I'm evil. You know, it's like well, this is what I had to do. Like, right? Like, you know, that's why I had to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, holy shit, it sounds like you know somebody's psyching themselves up. Any of us,
Yeah.
psyching
We already
themselves up
gassed the
to
first
do something
1,000.
bad.
Now we have to.
All right, continue on.
But yeah, I fucking love that movie, and I was like, wow, going to movies by myself is not horrible. It's actually fucking
No,
awesome.
that's what I've done for. It's rare that I go to the movies with another person. Like, and I'll pick a night, like a fucking Wednesday or Thursday night,
When
the
you know
late
it's
show,
gonna be- yeah.
where it's like it'll half the time be just fucking me, and you sit right dead fucking center of the theater, which I don't like that new system they got with the where you gotta pick a seat.
Man,
Like, I mean, maybe I want to pick the best seat, but once I get in there, what if another seat looks good? I mean,
yeah. I mean, it does save me like having to like wait to get the seats that I want because I'd get there.
if you
like,
do it
hella early.
online, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Then you can like reserve the
Yeah.
actual good ones. But like if you get there and it's like, so I'll just like randomly click the screen and then just fucking go sit wherever the fuck I want anyways.
That's it.
And if somebody shows up with a ticket for my seat, like they came in after me, because I always show up like after the credits start. Like I don't want to fucking sit through credits, so I'll show up like if the movie starts at 7, I show up about 7:05, 7:10, figuring that I'm gonna get there just in time. So if anybody comes after me, like it's like, well, fuck, dude, that.
And what are the odds, especially if you're going at a time like that?
Yeah,
I,
I mean, they one up me. You can have this seat. There you go.
I'm ridiculous about like well before they got the new seats in there and stuff. I was ridiculous about sitting in the like the row right up front so I could like put my feet on those bars.
Oh yeah,
and,
not right up front, but
no,
like
no,
the,
no,
the-
but like the,
right behind the handicapable section. Yeah.
absolutely. And so I would get there ridiculously early and wait in line, and then. But if you're a grown adult, and somebody gets there like first, and to get something like that, I had a guy like take off running past me one time, and I was like, that's never going to happen again. Because the next time I wait in line and somebody tries to run past me, they're gonna eat
Boink.
shit. You know, like they're gonna get tripped, maybe a kick, depending on how I'm feeling that day. And because I'm like, that's not cool, man.
No,
You know, but
that's basically budging with like slightly more
yeah.
effort on his part.
but movie theater etiquette, it's a thing. But
It reminds me of there's a movie with Dwight from The Office.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. I can't remember the
Oh,
guy's
yeah,
name.
yeah.
So he's in a movie called Super, where he decides to be a fucking costume. It's kind of like a precursor to Kick-Ass, and he just fucking decides to become a superhero, and he uses a wrench. It's just a fucking big
like
ass
the
wrench.
shovel.
Kind of like the shoveler, but there's a lot more fucking blood. And like one of the things he does is like he's in line for something and somebody budges and he fucking runs to his car, puts his super suit on, which is just a terrible homemade fucking costume. And he runs back with a wrench and fucking clocks this guy, like possibly lethally. You don't budge in line.
Western civilization is not collapsing on my watch.
Yep.
What's that movie called?
It's called Super. Like his
Super.
tag phrase is "Shut up, crime," and like he clearly has a fucking a seizure or a fucking something in the beginning of the movie where it's like explaining basically kind of like how he goes this route. Like it's this whole dream sequence where it's like his brain is fucking exposed by some fucking creepy eldritch tentacles and like the finger of God comes down and touches it, telling him he needs to be a superhero.
Oh.
It's like, oh, he just seizured the fuck out.
It's a story about
Yep.
mental illness, is what we're talking
Oh,
about.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
But
yeah, I gotta see it.
constructively used.
Ah, perfect. It's fucking awesome.
Well,
Well, should we wrap this up, boys? Anything else you want to add there, Tharg? Oh, one thing is, I don't know if I'm outing you. I'm going to out you anyway, but rumor has it that at some later date, you're going to come on this podcast and join the Bald Ambition Tour.
Yep, this will be where I do it, I think. If you guys
get the fuck out of
want
here.
somebody fucking boring back on again. I really wanted to do it the first time I came on, but I'm not quite committed yet. Like, but I have to fucking buzz my head. It's just getting terrible. Like so I was fucking doing my application for my carry permit, and like they have a distinguishing features thing on there, and so for my permit to purchase permit, I put on there like I can't remember the exact wording anymore, but it was like, world's longest comb over in an inevitable attempt to deny the fucking onset of male pattern baldness.
It
or
says
something
this
like
on
that.
your permit?
She decided not to fucking put it through, but she was highly amused. So
That is
I'm
a
like,
bummer.
Yeah. So I wanted to do that
It's a
on my
crime
carry
against comedy.
permit, but I was like, I better not, because not everyone's gonna.
I would.
But,
Like,
so, anyways,
could
yeah,
you put
it's-
like
at this point,
ridiculously
it's-
handsome?
Nah,
They won't do that either?
That's been done. Somebody.
Sea cod
So
piece.
when she saw that, she's like, "This is pretty good." Like some guys put like super handsome and stuff like that, and she just kind of rolls her eyes. But
God damn it! I just.
yeah,
like I
it's
sent her a
got
dick
to be
pic or something.
Basic.
yeah. But yeah, so no, it's to the point where it's essentially a fucking comb over at this point.
Well,
so.
that will be something to look forward to, all of you
Indeed,
people out
indeed.
in TV land. I
And
said that very
I
loud.
will cut Tharg's hair.
All right.
I thought we'd get a pro.
Oh, we do know some.
I
We
don't-
do.
I think as long as I have somebody braid it all together first and like put it in, like it'll look hilarious because it's gonna be like fucking.
Is there such a thing as locks of hate?
So you burn them in front of cancer victims?
We made it through without.
What's
we
up,
made it-
Baldy?
we almost made it all the way through without one horrible joke that we'll have to apologize for later.
No apologies.
Except we're not going to apologize.
That's not even bad.
No, not yet. We haven't got there. We haven't got to bad yet.
Wonder if we could get Jason Mraz to come on and sing behind it while we're burning it. Okay, that probably wasn't appropriate. All right. So we kind of have this tradition as of one episode. But we like to kind of bring you out with a song. And today we're going to do a song from an old ass friend of mine, Steve Johnson, also known as Wisconsin Johnson. And I hadn't seen Steve in years. But a couple of months ago, unfortunately, an old friend of mine passed away. Remember Daryl Gregory?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
wild. He wasn't old either.
Yeah.
That's-
Well, he was. I had
An old
known
friend,
him
but
for
yeah,
a
I
long
mean,
time. But yeah, he wasn't
it's-
old.
Yeah, we're at the point now where it's going to be more fucking funerals and weddings.
Yeah,
Going
and that
forward.
sucked. But he passed away. But at the reception thing, I got to hang out with Steve, and it was just one of those things. I hadn't seen a guy in like, I don't know, 5-6 years.
Is that what they call it as reception?
I don't fucking know. I was at the bar. All right, let's just face it. I was
Oh,
at the
that's
bar.
awake.
Yeah, that's.
There was no body.
Yeah, oh, well.
Anyway, and I was talking to Steve. Ran into him there, and I mean, just hours of conversation, and it's like Jesus, like it's like you never left, So it was awesome. But in talking to him, I'm like, are you still playing and everything? And we, I don't want to tell his whole story, but it was entertaining. I'd love to have him on and tell the story about how he lucked into finding this like just amazing guitar, and then it got stolen from him, and it was just like this crazy thing. But he sent me a bunch of his unreleased recordings, and this song that we're going to take you out with is called If I Were a Cowboy, and it's actually by the band Sight Like December that Steve used to play with in Duluth. So enjoy it, and we'll see you next time.
If I were a cowboy, I'd jingle when I walked, and I'd squint through fierce blue eyes nobody'd see inside. It wouldn't matter if they did. A man like me wouldn't have goddamn thing to hide. And I wouldn't care what she thought of me. No, I'd let my pistols and my silence speak. I'd face the world with my bare hands. I'd take those reins and never give them back. Never give them back. Never give them back. Never give them back. I'm looking for myself in the mirror. My eyes and lips, they don't say shit. It's dangerous to be defined like this. To be defined like this. To be defined like this. If I could draw my ambition from anything but a straw, I'd probably draw it from a clear blue pond. I'd drink as deep as I could, cold and clear like a mirror, except the shame would go down smooth. Yeah, go down real smooth. Yeah, go down real smooth. If I could see clearly for more than a couple days, I'd never forget my father's face, and I'd hear his voice when I was young saying, you could be anyone, my son, anyone, my son, anyone, my son. I'm looking for myself in the mirror, eyes and lips that don't say shit. It's dangerous to be defined like this. 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 And if I were a cowboy, I'd jingle when I walked. Yeah, I'd squint through fierce blue eyes. Nobody'd see inside. It wouldn't matter if they did. A man like me wouldn't have a goddamn thing to hide.
Off to a good start.
I think so.
Funny song. I think we're way funnier today than we were last time.
Oh, we're always fucking on it.